Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Discover Your Dreams. I'm Cynthia, and I'm truly grateful you're here with me today. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to arrive. Go ahead and take one slow, deep breath. In through your nose, and exhale fully through your mouth. Just let yourself settle. Notice where you are. Notice how your body feels in this moment. No judgment, just awareness. Today, we're exploring something that gets tossed around a lot in personal growth and spiritual circles, yet is so often misunderstood: detachment. For many people, that word brings up images of giving up, letting go completely, walking away from what matters, or becoming cold and indifferent. But real attachment isn't about abandoning your life or disconnecting from what you care about. It's about coming home to yourself, returning to your center, your clarity, your truth. It's a shift from gripping to grounding, from control to trust, from fear to presence. And that's what we're going to explore together today. Detachment can feel a little scary at first, and honestly, that makes sense. So many of us grew up believing that caring deeply meant holding on tightly. Tightly to outcomes, tightly to relationships, tightly to expectations, tightly to control. We were taught that if we loosen our grip, even a little, everything might fall apart. So when someone brings up the idea of detachment, it can land like they're saying, just stop caring, or walk away, or shut down your emotions. But that's not what detachment is, not even close. Detachment doesn't ask you to care less. It asks you to stop gripping so hard that you lose yourself in the process. It's not about disconnecting from life. It's about releasing the tension that comes from trying to force life to be a certain way. When you let go of the gripping, your care becomes cleaner, your presence becomes steadier, and your energy becomes freer. That's the heart of detachment. You can care deeply about something, a dream, a person, a hope, without making your sense of stability depend on how it all turns out. Clinging says, I will only feel okay if this works out exactly the way I want it to. It ties your peace to a single outcome, as if your well-being lives outside of you, waiting for life to cooperate. Detachment, on the other hand, speaks with a very different energy. It says, I will meet whatever happens without abandoning myself. It's steady. It's grounded. It's you choosing to stay connected to your own center, no matter what unfolds. One way of being places your peace somewhere out in the world, where you can't fully reach it or protect it. The other brings your peace back home, into your body, your breath, your inner knowing. That's the shift detachment invites. There was a period in my life when I wanted something to work out so badly that it completely took over my inner world. It was all I thought about. Every decision I made somehow circled back to it. Every conversation carried this quiet, invisible pressure. And even when I tried to unwind or distract myself, my mind kept looping around the same anxious question. Is this going to work? The more I cared, the tighter I held on. And the tighter I held, the more drained and overwhelmed I became. What I didn't understand at the time was that my nervous system had linked my sense of safety to that one outcome. If things worked out, I believed I would finally be okay. If they didn't, I felt like I wouldn't be. And that isn't stability. That's dependence. A kind of emotional outsourcing that leaves you exhausted and disconnected from yourself. Detachment for me began with realizing that my peace couldn't live in something I couldn't control. The shift finally came when I realized something simple but incredibly powerful. I could still care about the outcome without tying my peace to it. That realization didn't mean I suddenly stopped wanting what I wanted. It didn't mean I became detached in the cold, distant sense. It simply meant I stopped losing myself inside the wanting. And the moment I returned to myself, to my breath, to my body, to my own inner steadiness, everything felt lighter. Not because the situation magically resolved overnight, not because the outcome became guaranteed, but because I wasn't gripping it anymore. I wasn't holding it with that desperate, anxious energy. And when the gripping softened, my whole system softened with it. That's the quiet power of true detachment. Clinging is so often mistaken for responsibility. We tell ourselves that if we hold on tightly enough, if we think about it constantly, manage every detail, anticipate every possibility, then somehow we can control the outcome. But most of the time, clinging doesn't create clarity or progress. It creates tension. Your nervous system stays on high alert, as if something could go wrong at any moment. Your mind keeps scanning for signs, trying to predict the future, trying to stay one step ahead. Your body stays braced, shoulders tight, breath shallow, energy contracted. And from that state, clarity doesn't just fade, it becomes almost impossible to access. Clinging narrows your vision. Detachment opens it. Think of something in your life right now that feels a bit heavy, something that keeps circling in your mind, the thing you find yourself returning to again and again. Now ask yourself softly, without judgment, am I genuinely caring about this, or am I gripping it so tightly that it's weighing me down? When you detach, something really important begins to happen. Space opens. Space in the mind where thoughts can breathe instead of collide. Space in the nervous system where your body can finally soften and stop bracing for impact. Space in your perception where you can see things more clearly without the fog of fear or urgency. And in that space, new responses start to emerge. You're no longer reacting from pressure or panic. You're responding from presence, from steadiness, from the part of you that isn't tangled in the outcome. That's where your clarity lives. There was another moment in my life when I felt completely stuck. I was trying to make a decision, and no matter how much I analyzed it, I couldn't seem to find my way through. I kept going back and forth, replaying every possibility in my mind. Every path felt urgent. Every option felt heavy, like it carried a hidden consequence I needed to anticipate. And the harder I tried to figure it out, the more tangled and confused I became. My mind was working overtime, but the clarity just wasn't there. Eventually, I stepped away. Not out of avoidance, not because I didn't care, but as an act of detachment. I stopped trying to force the answer to appear. I grounded myself. I came back into my body, into my breath, into the present moment. And within a few days, something interesting happened. The decision became obvious, effortlessly obvious. Not because I finally cracked the code or solved the puzzle, but because once the pressure lifted, clarity had room to return. That's the quiet magic of detachment. Answers rise naturally when the mind is no longer clenched around them. This is something we talked about last month, and it's worth repeating because it's so foundational. Clarity comes after safety, and detachment, real grounded detachment, creates that sense of safety. When you release your grip on the outcome, even just a little, your nervous system begins to relax. Your breath deepens. Your body softens. Your mind stops bracing for impact. And when the system relaxes, your perception naturally widens. You can see more. You can feel more. You can access the parts of yourself that get blocked when you're in survival mode. And when perception widens, clarity finally has room to appear. Not forced, not chased, just revealed. Detachment isn't withdrawal. It's not shutting down or stepping away from life. It's nervous system regulation. It's choosing to meet life from a grounded place instead of a pressured one. That's where your wisdom lives. Let me ask you something honestly. When you're feeling stressed about a situation in your life, is it truly because you care? Or is it because you feel responsible for controlling how it turns out? If you feel comfortable sharing, drop just a one-word answer in the comments: care or control. Sometimes simply naming which one is driving us brings a surprising amount of clarity. This is also where detachment beautifully connects with manifestation. A lot of teachings remind us that our outer world mirrors our inner state. Not our stress, not our overthinking, not our obsession, but the energy we're actually living in. And here's where many people misunderstand the process. Manifestation doesn't come from gripping something so tightly you can't breathe. It doesn't come from thinking about it every second of the day or trying to micromanage the universe. Manifestation comes from assumption, the quiet inner knowing that what you desire is already on its way. And assumption requires inner stability. It requires a nervous system that feels safe enough to believe. If your emotional state is dependent on the outcome, your nervous system stays in lack, in fear, in what if it doesn't happen. But when you detach from needing the outcome in order to feel safe, your entire inner state shifts. You move from pressure to trust, from scarcity to openness, from gripping to allowing. And that's the space where manifestation becomes possible, not because you're forcing it, but because you're aligning with it. Let's try something simple together. Bring to mind something you've been gripping lately, that situation, that worry, that hope you keep circling around. Just notice it for a moment. No judgment, no fixing, just awareness. Now imagine yourself loosening your hold on it ever so slightly, not dropping it, not abandoning it, just softening your grip. Then bring your attention back to your breath, back to your body, back to this present moment. Notice how different that feels, even with just a little more space. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about your life. It doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. It means you stop sacrificing your peace in an attempt to control every detail. It means you trust yourself enough to meet whatever comes, not from fear, but from steadiness. And when you return to yourself in that way, something powerful begins to shift. Your decisions become clearer because they're no longer made from panic. Your energy becomes steadier because you're not constantly bracing for the worst. And life itself starts to move with less resistance, as if the path opens a little more easily when you're not pushing so hard. That's the quiet strength of detachment. Detachment is not giving up. It's coming back to yourself. It's remembering that your peace doesn't live in outcomes or in things you can't control. It lives in your relationship with yourself, in how you breathe through uncertainty, in how you stay connected to your own center, in how you meet life without abandoning who you are. You don't have to hold everything so tightly. You don't have to carry every outcome on your shoulders. When you return to yourself, to your breath, to your center, to the part of you that isn't gripping, life becomes so much easier to meet. Not because it suddenly becomes simple, but because you become steadier. And from that steadiness, everything feels more possible. I'll see you next time.